Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you all for coming to listen to me speak. Thank you to the team of Lagos X Paris. I'm so excited and ready to go. There is no playbook for building culture, no manual for turning vision into reality, no map for elevating African creativity in the world stage. And yet, here we are. And here is Alara. There is no playbook, not for what we've done, not for what we're building, not for what lies ahead. When I founded Alara, I wasn't following a template. There was no blueprint for creating a space that celebrated African culture with the same reverence and innovation as the world's leading houses. There was only a vision and a deep belief that our culture, our craftsmanship, and our creativity deserve not just a seat at the table, but a table of our own. Today, I want to share with you some of that journey, the lessons we've learned in building resilience, cultivating agility, and staying anchored in purpose, and holding fast to belief, even in uncertain times. I share this story today not only to reflect on the journey of Alara, but to share some lessons for anyone building at the frontier of culture, creativity, and entrepreneurship. From day one, Alara was never just about retail. It was about creating a living platform where the past and present, tradition and innovation could meet. A space where African designers, artisans, creative and cultural voices could be celebrated not as emerging, but as essential. And a space where global audiences could experience African creativity at its highest expression, with authenticity, intention, and pride. But here's the truth. There's no playbook. There was no playbook for any of this. No map, no guide. I just felt that we needed something iconic, something that would change our city, change the way we see ourselves, and change the way the world sees us. And so we followed purpose. We built with belief, and we led with courage. That is how Alara came to be, and that is how we continue to shape its future. And in so doing, we are not inventing something new. We are continuing a legacy, because luxury is not new to Africa. Historically, in royal courts across this continent, from the bronze casters of Benin to the goldsmiths of Mali, from the weavers of Ashoke to scribes and artisans in Ethiopia, kings and queens have cultivated a culture of beauty, artistry, craftsmanship, and patronage. Luxury was never about excess. It was about meaning, mastery, and identity. It was a language of power and pride. Today, this still applies, though I will add another element to it. Luxury here must have a heart and a soul. It must also involve the uplifting of lives and the preservation of our history and culture. This is the Alara way and the ethos of new African luxury. So when we speak of Alara today, we are speaking of a window to the world, an authentic curation of contemporary Africa. But we are speaking about a spirit, not just a building. Although Alara itself is not a neutral space, it's a huge statement. It is this rebellious big building, like a spaceship landed in the middle of Lagos. But it's all really about our ethos. It's one of bravery, and it's one of change. And the desire to uplift, to educate, to connect, and to energize and empower the youth to be the best that they can be. To do that forcefully, honestly, and openly. That ethos is without walls. It is borderless, and we want it to flow. This is how we move forward, without a playbook, but with purpose, with belief, and with courage. Of course, on our journey, there have been challenges, very many. We were building in something that had no name. We were creating a genre. We were navigating a market that had no formal structures for the kind of work we wanted to do, where elevated experiences were expected only outside of our borders. There is no playbook for pioneering formal retail in an ecosystem where much of the industry operates informally, where supply chains are fragmented, where pricing can be inconsistent, where business practices are still evolving. But even beyond that, how do you offer a luxury experience in a non-luxurious environment? How do you become your own government, providing power, security, and infrastructure? How do you run generators round the clock so as not to demean the experience and still be expected to be price sensitive? Leaving low lights on, twinkling at Alara all night is essential. We represent beauty in all its tenets, and we evoke dreams and aspiration. Not having your dinner interrupted by a power cut is absolutely essential to the experience we create. A serene atmosphere, a consistent elevated experience, these are non-negotiable. And yet, they say our bula should be 5,000 naira. It can't be. There is no playbook. Then there were the naysayers, a very, very important part of our growth. Every time we heard somebody say something negative, and there were many, it spurred us on more. It energized us. It was fuel. What does it mean to be first and excellent? It brings confusion, skepticism, doubt, resistance, and sometimes jealousy. There were many whys. Why? Why so grand? Why so fussy? Why her? As if we didn't deserve to be. As if I didn't deserve to be. But no, I am not saying I am better than you. I am of service to you. And this is our paradox. In all its grandeur, Alara is of service to its creatives and its audiences. We had to learn patience and grace. There is no playbook. We had to convince global partners to believe in this new type of retail, that we were worthy of their attention. 3 years before Alara opened, I was already pounding pavements all over the world, plans in hand, spreading the joy of this new concept, knocking on doors, convincing, cajoling, commanding. And of course, we had our supporters, friends, strangers, family, who put in words for us, who set up appointments, who talked about us, who sent people to us. They bolstered us. These people helped us build trust when there was no precedent. There is no playbook. And beyond that, our business spans a very wide breadth of the creative industries: fashion, art, food, events, culture. It is, in truth, many businesses in one, 6 and counting. A living platform where disciplines intersect, experiences are curated, and cultural narratives are shaped in real time. This makes the work both exhilarating and incredibly complex to coordinate, to structure, and to sustain. But it also helps us manage the vagaries of business. When one tide is low, for one business, it's time to go full gear on another one. When fashion retail dips, picks up, design pieces may be a constant. We could dedicate more time, for instance, to our community's voice. Building cohesive teams in this space has been its own challenge. Formal retail simply did not exist in this way. And the economic realities of our market means that talent and pay structures don't always align. We have had to invent new ways of working, new forms of collaboration. At the moment, we have 2 teams, the Alara team and the Alara World team. And our core members are in different parts of the world, different time zones, all interacting regularly, running Alara locally and trying to conquer the world at the same time. And my role, Mrs. F, I am curator, I am mentor, I'm negotiator, I'm constant builder of bridges. I will go from instructing the cleaner on how to maintain and clean a terrazzo floor, to coming up with a dish at knock, to scouting Central Lagos market for steel, to staying all night to decorate, to visiting the top designers in the world, and providing a listening ear to a young artist. I am hands-on, and it is full-on. Rewarding, but it's not a life I would recommend to the faint of heart. There is no playbook. And one of the greatest pleasures that I have had over the last 10 years has been watching creatives grow, watching the soul of this city become supercharged and unique, watching bold expressions emerge everywhere. It feels as if Lagos has a hidden creative talent. Everyone in Lagos has a hidden creative talent, their superpower. I cannot get enough of this creative energy in this city. It remains, to me, one of the most energetic, dynamic, and creative cities in the world. But we have also had our challenges with some creatives, extraordinary talents, rich in vision, but often treating creativity as a side hustle, and therefore not committing fully to its intricacies and its nuances. Often with little experience in navigating structures of retail, of wholesale, of production, of timelines, of representation, and at times with a reluctance to embrace the discipline required to grow sustainably as a brand. And I am deeply aware that the creatives we work with are facing their own enormous challenges. There's no playbook for building a brand or running a production business in our environment. They are navigating broken supply chains, unstable power, inconsistent access to raw materials, unreliable transportation, financial constraints, and markets that don't often understand the value of their work. Many of them are makers and managers at the same time, producing, promoting, distributing, and running their business with little structural support. They too are constantly required to be resilient, agile, purposeful, and full of belief. And as Alara, we see it as part of our role, not only to represent them, but to support them, to help them build the structures and understanding that will allow them to thrive, not just survive. We want to be an inspiration to them. Because the sustainability of this ecosystem depends not just on what happens on our shop floor, but what happens in every studio, every workshop, every creative space across the continent. And to every creative building in this environment, know that your challenges are real, but so is your brilliance. The brilliance cannot sustain you if it's not supported by dedication, learning, and extremely hard work. Dedicate yourself to your purpose and to your work. Immerse yourself in it so you don't have time for whining, time for gossiping. You should be too busy building yourself and perfecting your practice. Alara is testament to this. But you are not alone in this work. And together we can build something lasting, something extraordinary. There is no playbook. And sometimes the glamour you see front of house belies the sheer volume of work that happens behind closed doors. The operational complexity, the negotiation, the coordination required to make the experience seamless and beautiful. And yet we do this day in and day out. Because we understand that if we want to build a true ecosystem for African luxury and creativity, structure matters, transparency matters, education matters. Without it, there cannot be a sustainable future for the incredible talent we are nurturing across the continent. This is one of the most important learnings I have had in the 10 years of Alara, that if we don't get education right, and quickly for our industry, we will lose the momentum that we have now gained. And through it all, through the complexity, the constant building, the challenges, both seen and unseen, we have had to lead with resilience, with agility, with purpose, and above all, with belief. So those are the 4 points I would like to talk about now. Just trying to distill what we've learned into some principles of creative leadership: resilience, agility, purpose, and belief. I hope that for each of you building your own creative path, you will find your own versions of these lessons. Resilience, for instance, has been absolutely essential. Building a space where no clear path exists means setbacks are inevitable. But so is progress if you remain committed. We have built a 360-degree brand: fashion, food, culture, events, community. And we have survived logistical nightmares on a regular basis: sourcing, transporting, navigating FX restrictions. I'm not sure people always understand what it takes for us to show up regularly with intensity and so consistently. We travel to remote parts of the country, engaging with talents who are reluctant to move to the city. Who can blame them? We brave borders that are unfriendly to trade and creativity. We take risks for beauty. We fight for culture. I remember in the early days spending a lot of time in Senegal, a place of extraordinary design energy. I learned so much from Aissa Dion, in my view, one of the most important textile designers of our time. Together, we envisioned making luxury hand-woven fabrics and handcrafted furnitures in collaboration to converge in Alara, a wholesome exchange of skills between our two countries, the epitome of African luxury and exchange. We would regularly truck pieces across borders, only to see them arrive broken, time and time again, because the roads were so bad. I would take them to my woodworking factory to rebuild and refresh them and present them in Alara, but at what price? And worse still, the border encounters remained, and the scars are left on me, and I will never forget. You know, we have also lost so much money. Well, maybe invested so much money is better to say, in supporting brands we knew may not yet be financially sustainable. But we chose creative voices that deserve to be nurtured and exposed. Sometimes this kind of support is not fully understood or appreciated. We have seen brands violate exclusivity agreements, not yet understanding the discipline required to build strong and trusted brands. This terrain is tough. Consistency is tough. But we choose to be resilient every single day. I want to talk about agility a little bit. Agility has been critical for us. We have had to adapt to shifting market conditions, to global disruptions, to local realities, always ready to reimagine how we deliver value and experience. When COVID hit, we pivoted to knockout. We stopped buying merchandise for Alara for 2 years. We focused on personal shopping and pre-orders. Our systems were not built for remote work, but we adapted quickly. Being agile allows us to stay close to our purpose. We do not give up. Purpose. Purpose has been our North Star. It is what allows us to make difficult decisions with clarity, to say yes when it aligns with our mission, and no when it does not. And belief. Belief carries us forward. Belief in the value of African creativity. Belief that we can redefine African luxury locally and globally. Belief in the power of culture. Belief in the resilience of our communities. And in the possibility of building something new, something lasting without a playbook. And it is with this mindset that we now look ahead. Because the work is far from finished, in many ways, it's just the beginning. As we look to the future of Alara, of African luxury, of creativity on this continent, innovation must lead the way. But not innovation for its own sake, and certainly not innovation borrowed from models that do not fit our realities. Over the last 10 years, we have learned this. What will guide us forward is not what has been done elsewhere, but what pertains to us. What emerges from our own context, our own ecosystems, and our own creative intelligence. And we are seeing this live right now. Designers are working ever so closely with traditional artisans, elevating local craft with contemporary narratives. There is a new language forming, rooted in tradition, but expressed in fresh, exciting ways. You can see it, you can feel it. We are on the cusp of something extraordinary, something that is ours. How magical is that? And how long we have waited for this moment. How hard we have worked for this moment. We must preserve it. We must make it sustainable. Otherwise, it will be a wasted moment. So we are not here to replicate a global template. We are here to carve our own path, a path shaped by the needs, strengths, and ambitions of our community. And this path will not be perfect, nor should it be. Innovation for us means building structures where none existed. It means adapting ancient traditions to new expressions. It means creating new models of value, of representation, of exchange, grounded in authenticity and not in imitation. In innovating, we at Alara have created various properties: Homegrown, Alara World, Alara Emerge, Alara Now, Knock Audio Labs. These are not trends. They are ways of giving space, voice, and platform to the brilliance that exists right here, sometimes in unexpected ways. We appeared at the Brooklyn Museum. People were surprised about that. But as part of our evolution, we have become a repository of culture and history. We do much more than sell product. We are selling a narrative. We have become guardians of history. As we move forward, we will continue to learn, to observe, to evolve with courage, with humility, and with an unwavering belief in the power of African creativity to lead and not to follow. And for all of you in this room, creatives, makers, builders, leaders, know this: there is no perfect path. There is no borrowed formula. There is only your courage to create something that is true to you. There is no playbook. And perhaps that is our greatest strength. Because when there is no prescribed path, we are free to create one that is true to who we are, not borrowed, not perfect, but purposeful. As we continue to learn and to lead, our hope is that our journey becomes a spark for others to dream boldly, build fearlessly, and to know that they too can create something where nothing existed before. This is how we move forward, with culture, with craftsmanship, with creativity, with community, with courage, and with impact. This is how we build. This is how we lead. This is how we define African luxury. There is no playbook, but there is purpose, there is belief, and there is us. And that is more than enough. Thank you. Thank you very much.